All right, let's dive in. Today, we are venturing into the unseen spaces of your web browser. We're going to master its hidden dimensions. You know, those super tricky spots where even the best automation scripts just get stuck. Well, not anymore.
You know that feeling, right? You've written this perfect automation script. It's running beautifully and then boom. For no reason at all, it just stops. It can't find an element that you are staring right at. You know it's there. It's got to be one of the most frustrating things in web automation.
But here's the secret. Your script, it probably isn't broken at all. It's just lost. It's wandered off into a different context, like a separate dimension of the web page, and it just doesn't know how to get around. So our job, it's to give it a map. Okay, so let's start with the simplest of these dimensions, the classic pop-up alert. You know the one, that little box that just hijacks your entire browser experience until you deal with it. This is going to be our first challenge. Honestly, the best way to think about a JavaScript alert is to imagine a doorbell ringing. As soon as it rings, everything else just stops, right? You can't keep watching your show, you can't continue your conversation, you have to go to the door and answer it. Well, your automation script is in the exact same boat. It's totally frozen until it handles that alert. So, how do we get our script to answer the door? Well, you've got a few options. You can tell it to accept, which is basically clicking OK. Or you can tell it to dismiss, which is like clicking cancel. And then sometimes you get a prompt where the script actually needs to type something into a box before it can accept or dismiss. The key thing here is you have to tell your script exactly which action to take. All right, so we've answered the doorbell. Now let's level up and tackle the next dimension of complexity, frames. And really, you can just think of these as a window inside of another window. Now, technically, you'll hear these called IFrames, and all that means is it's a totally self-contained web page that's embedded right inside the main one. You see them all the time for things like YouTube videos or ads or those little support chat widgets in the corner. For your script, that little embedded page might as well be on another planet. It's a completely separate world. So let's use another analogy. Imagine your script is walking through an art gallery. The gallery itself is the main web page. It can see all the paintings on the walls, no problem. But if it wants to actually interact with the details inside one of those paintings, it can't do it from across the room. It has to stop, walk right up to it, and focus all of its attention on that one single canvas. And to make things even more interesting, sometimes you have frames nested inside other frames. This is kind of like that painting in the gallery having a picture of another painting inside of it. So to get to that inner painting, you first have to focus on the outer one and then focus again on the one inside. We usually call these parent and child frames. So how do we tell our script to step closer and actually focus on the painting? Well, we use a beautifully simple command, switchTo.frame.act. That's it. This one command is what moves your script's attention from the main gallery, the main page, right into that specific painting it needs to work with. Okay, we've handled doorbells, we've inspected paintings. Now it's time for the biggest jump of all, the third dimension. This is when your script needs to literally leap between completely different browser windows or tabs. So if frames are like paintings in a gallery, then new windows or tabs, they're like completely different rooms in a house. They are totally separate, almost like parallel universes. Your script can only be in one room at a time. So if it's in the living room and needs to grab something from the kitchen, it has to physically leave the living room and walk into the kitchen. And the command for telling it to walk into a different room? I bet you're sensing a pattern here. It's switchTo.window. Yep. This command lets you tell your script exactly which window or tab it should be paying attention to, letting it jump between these little parallel universes whenever you want. So we've talked about alerts, frames, and windows, and it feels like we're talking about three totally separate problems. But what if I told you they all share the exact same solution? It is time to reveal the master key that unlocks all of these hidden dimensions. Okay, this is the big aha moment. The secret is that you don't need to learn three different complicated solutions. You just need to understand one single powerful concept, the idea of switching context. Think of it like you have one master key, and it just has slightly different teeth for each different lock. Let's just bring it all together right here. For the alert, that's our doorbell, you use switchTo.alert. For the frame, our painting in the gallery, you use switchTo.frame. And for that new window or tab, the different room in the house, you use switchTo.window. You see that? It is the exact same simple pattern for every single one of these roadblocks.
So really, the crucial point is this. By default, your script only sees the main top-level web page. That's its entire world. So anytime something new pops up or is embedded or opens in a new tab, you, the programmer, have to explicitly command your script to shift its focus. You have to tell it exactly where to look.
And that is it. Seriously, you now have the master key. You can navigate all of those hidden dimensions of the browser. Alerts, frames, new windows, they aren't roadblocks anymore. They're just doors. And now you know exactly how to open them. So I guess the only question left is, now that you have this power, what are you going to automate first?